This week's episode of the Indian Dots podcast, me and Karan have discussed his trip to Matera. We've also spoken about if the German markets are actually worth it, or if it's just manga and over the top and not necessary. All comments and thoughts are welcome. Please let us know. We also talk about Karan's quells with his Confessions of a Married Man. Is it about his wife for a 5th week running? Is it not? Click through to find out. And lastly, we are also talking about a quick segment called Did You Hear About?, which is a poll, bunch of quiz questions. Everyone can take part. Let us know your results in the comments. DM us. Tell us what you actually got. Many thanks. Much love. Catch you there. Peace. What's up, people? Welcome to this week's episode of the Indian Dots podcast. We have liftoff because Karan is an international jet setter. This guy's had more holidays than I could ever have in 1 year. So, Karan, Doctor, what's been happening with your most recent holiday to the oldest city in the world that was, but then wasn't, and then I think it still is?
Yeah, we mentioned it last week, didn't we? So, what was interesting, I actually thought about you there when I was on holiday. I was on every tour, walking tour. They kept saying, this is the 3rd oldest city in the world behind Aleppo and Jericho. And I was like, this is exactly what Indy and I looked up. So maybe they're talking about Europe, maybe they're not. But there are parts of Matera which were inhabited by the Paleo-Neopathic, I think I'm saying that correctly, people, or age, about 2 million years ago. So a long, long time ago. And they've, obviously
That's a lot of words, man.
It's a lot of words. So... yeah, so I went to Matera, as I told you guys last week. Matera was absolutely awesome. It was the off season, which meant it was a very, very empty, sleepy town. If you've seen the film The American with George Clooney, when he plays like an assassin, hitman type thing, he's in a quiet Italian village. It's a bit like that. To the point where when we were walking back on one of the nights coming back after dinner, you couldn't hear anything, like no signs of life. It's pretty creepy, actually. And if you want to think of what Matera looks like, it's kind of like, again, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, Minas Tirith, so the White City in The Return of the King, it basically looks like that. But it's very, very cool. And obviously, yeah, the Bond set. And yeah, man, so just another trip in Italy. I love Italy. I think it's my 7th, 8th visit to Italy in the last couple of years. And yeah, jet set, baby. Jet set. I do. Shindy used that term, She goes... We often talk about, and I encourage this for all people who are in a relationship, couple, married, whatever, about, talk about couple goals, right? Everyone uses hashtag couple goals. And if you really look at what that thing is, and rather than just what you see people posting, which is often just about, materialism or capitalism and that kind of stuff, it's what is the life that I want to live and how will I know? This is a really important question. I always ask my coaching clients as well. It's, success, happiness, whatever you want to use that end game word is, you don't cross this. There's no real line that you cross and then you're like, oh, successful, oh, happy, right? So then you need to ask yourself the question, how will I know when I'm in that place? Okay. So for example, I know a part of it for you, part of your end game is, yes, that we can podcast on a regular basis, have income that comes from that, get paid to do what you love. And outside of shooting the actual stuff, you can actually give your time, effort, energy into researching even more and building out even more. I know that's part of your end game because you tell me about it constantly. It's starting to infect me now as well. And so for me and Shindy, part of that is travel. Yes, I'm on board. So part of that is travel and the freedom of travel. And I'm going to be producing a YouTube video soon, which is about the value of travel, right? And the freedom that you get, and you don't really have to have this facade. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you when you travel, which means actually you end up, I definitely end up just being my most authentic self because you're not judged by anyone. And it makes you really mindful, right? So you're there, you don't have access to your normal routines and work as such. So you have to fill your time. It's not like you're going to sit in a room all day. So it's like, what do? And you have to use your time, and it forces you to do things maybe you wouldn't do. And for me, it's been a really good reset. I felt really, really refreshed coming back. But more on that later, about what I learned from the Italians. And obviously, life is good.
Do they have a breakdown of like cities or films that have been filmed in Matera? Because you've mentioned 2 different pretty global films now.
Yes, so we've obviously had the Bond franchise most recently. What's interesting is when we did an actual Bond tour, and you realize that some of the things are completely, fake. So, for example, in the scene where the lady, I can't remember her name now, so James's girlfriend or wife, is on the balcony and she has the villain's name written out and she burns it. That's a fake balcony. But we saw where that fake balcony was created. So our tour guide actually had video footage of when they were filming. So to show you what it actually looked like. Yeah, and then the stunt when he's on the motorcycles is actually a stunt man, and they built this like artificial ramp, and they showed us that as well. So yeah, so Bond was obviously there. Passion of Christ, Mel Gibson. So the street where we were staying, so the Italian word for street is via. So we were staying on Via Muro. That was like one of the main streets I went into, the kind of like the kind of where all the restaurants and things were. But Mel Gibson was carrying the crucifix down there, and that area I told you about, which was inhabited 2 million years ago, so that's called Murgia Park, which is kind of just across the way. It's like loads and loads of caves. That's the actual location where he was crucified. And then there's another film which is old, like 1950s and 60s, where they actually used one of the caves to show where Jesus, after he was crucified, was buried, like in the tomb. And then obviously the story is that Jesus came out 3 days. He rose after 3 days. So that was there. Angelina Jolie has just shot a film last year that will be coming 3 months ago. Sorry, that'll be coming out next year. We saw the piazza. Piazza means square, where that was shot. And the guy, I think his name is Omar Sy, the guy who plays Lupin in Netflix. I know we've spoken about this guy before.
Yes.
So he is currently shooting a film next to the hotel that we were staying. Again, one of the other Bond hotels, Palazzo Gattini. Palazzo means palace of. Gattini is a local, quite famous local architect of Matera. So he's been given the name. So yeah, we didn't see him, but he is about apparently. So yeah, a lot of films.
That's a lot, man.
There's a lot. I know
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was going to say Matera. What was interesting is the actual Matera itself is now, the town is a UNESCO site, right? But up until 1952, people were actually living in there in very horrific conditions. Child mortality rates were 50%, 50. Okay, because you had these single. So I think we sent it to you in Sanj, but the room that we were staying in was originally somebody's like house, right? And you had like 10 people living in there with animals. So there was a trough actually in our room, but would have been a trough before. Okay, and this was 1952, bro. Like when we were there, we were watching an episode of The Crown, and in The Crown they were talking about 1952, and they were showing the king visiting Edward the Seventh, the one that abdicated, visiting Egypt, and you saw the world at that time. And at the same time, at this part in the world, this kind of completely isolated place, you had people living like this, using techniques that were hundreds of years old. And then the government basically got involved because it became the national shame, and they had to move all these people out into better accommodation. Then Matera was completely empty, basically. And actually it was the filmmakers and the artisans and the artists who came back to revive it. And they were like, now it's become popular and fashionable again to visit it. So most of it is tourism, the actual, what we call the Sassi. So Sassi is the old town, and that's broken down into two parts. But yeah, man, it's pretty awesome place. But it's not easy on your legs, man. Like everything is like inclined. Your quads get a good workout every single day. So if you're walking down somewhere, yeah, you're beautiful. Then you're going to have to walk back up. But there's multiple routes. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good leg workout, but definitely very romantic. So yeah, I definitely recommend it to you in Sanj. It's very easy to get to. 2 hour, 3 hour flight to Bari. I love saying that word, Bari, Bari, which is in Puglia. That's the region. And then you have like an hour commute to Matera. One thing I did learn, which was actually I learned lots of things, but normally, I don't know what you guys do, you and Sanj, but when you travel somewhere, say from the airport to wherever you're staying, are you guys a public transport people? Are you transfers people? What do you do? What's your normal thing?
Normally public transport. The only time we've had a transfer was on our honeymoon. Otherwise, we tend to sort of catch a cab, or we'll look at a public transport route to the hotel, whether that's through like a train or whatever.
Okay, and the reason you do that is?
Well, the train kind of forces you to do two things. It forces you to get familiar with the area itself. You pass through certain parts, and then you get used to the travel system, so that when you do travel around in the next few days, you've already broken that kind of duck.
Yep.
and you're sort of embedded and you kind of have a bit of some understanding of what it looks like, how cramped it is, how busy it is. Because if you can get on with a suitcase, you then realize, okay, this is going to be very difficult to maneuver, but we can still move around and it's all good. If you can get through that, then if you're going with a backpack anyway, you're pretty much good to go.
Yeah, I like that. You're doing a bit of what we call like a recce, isn't it? You're kind of just getting straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all very, very good reasons. Now, Matera has a train station, but it doesn't have any functioning trains, right? So when you look on Google Maps as to how to get to where you want to get to, like I said, it's about an hour away. The only thing that shows up are the transfers. The transfers are costing 100 euros each way for an hour journey. Or there's a bus that takes you there, which was 340 each. So surprise, surprise, we went on the bus. And obviously, basically, they have a monopoly because there's no other way of getting to Matera. So they charge whatever they want to charge. And so clearly some people are paying. But yeah, that was just a tip, guys. So when you are traveling, just look at what's recommended now. Obviously, with an airport, travelings tend to be good. So like, even at Stansted where we flew from, there was, the tube station or whatever the train station is right in there, and on the way out, we did a meet and greet with the car. We literally dropped the car and then right in front of us, the terminal, like it was literally a minute escalator up. And I was like, this is so smooth, right? So seamless. So yeah, that's my tip. Look into travel links.
Yeah, man. Always look at the public transport route if you can. I have a couple of questions on Matera. I think I've probably forgotten them now because you've been chatting for a little bit.
Rambling.
Okay. Are the public they're annoyed that a lot of people are coming to visit the area ever since the prominence of more and more films being shot there?
Good question. So first thing is, prior to, let's say, Bond, which was released in 2020, 2019, Matera was voted the European Capital of Culture anyway. So that kind of put them on the map. So that was a separate thing outside of the films. Like we said, it's a UNESCO site. And so the majority, there's no real jobs, right, outside of tourism. So I think the locals recognize that without that income, it's quite hard to sustain this beautiful site, right? Because everything's like, think of it like grade listing. So if you want to do something, it has to be certain materials. You can't use like PVC and stuff. It has to be in keeping with the rhetoric for that area, which means you need a lot of investment. I think because we went in off season as well when it was empty, it's hard to know how the locals perceive, when it's super, super busy. Like our guide is saying, yeah, when it gets rammed, it's rammed. There were some videos that showed us where, when Bond's doing the DB5 chase scene, there's a woman shouting in Italian, "Go home, leave our city." No, she showed us that video. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, because she said there were like 5 DB5s and obviously every day revving, and they actually made lots of skid marks and they had to clean that before they went. So I guess, they can probably be annoyed at the time, but obviously the long-lasting effects of that, this year they've said they've seen a massive increase in people traveling to Matera for that reason. But generally, you found the people to be very pleasant. On the first day, as we were walking to the hotel, there was a drunk old Italian man. I didn't actually realize he was drunk. Shindy did. I thought he was just really happy, and he came up to me really close, got his phone out, and just took a picture of me. And his son or nephew or somebody was there, and he's like, yeah, he's Italian. He's not seen somebody like you with, Asian big beard. And I was like, yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. So yeah, that's the answer to your first question.
That happened to me, bro.
I'm not surprised.
That happened to me in Thailand. No, in Vietnam when I was traveling.
Oh,
through.
Mr. Indy.
These old women were pulling me over.
Mr. Indy.
No one knew my name there. I was broke with this big ass backpack on my back, right? Yeah. And everyone's all these women were coming up to me, I'm talking about 40s, 50s, and they're coming up to me oh my God, he's got a beard. Let's take a picture with him. And I'm
bro,
didn't think I was that unique.
You got game, man. You got to listen. You know why? Because you're in fashion, baby. And you're pro ball and you wear crepes.
Yeah, clearly.
Bro, I've been practicing this shit, okay? You got all this thing. The beard, yeah.
The beard is fashionable, clearly.
Clearly. Yeah. Italians obviously love it, man. Italian men would give me the sing nod, right? So you get the sing nod, but the Italian men, they respect a good beard. Yeah. They were just si, buongiorno, si. I might as well teach you some Italian words. Or we can do that in another segment. But it does segue into, just prior to this podcast, I had my first Italian speaking lesson. because I've been like for a while. Like
Oi,
I
oi.
go to these countries and I always try and speak some of the words to the point where I'll say something, and because I practice the words so much, it actually sounds quite authentic. And then they'll say something more advanced, and I'm like, no comprende. Parle inglés, So yeah, should we do some words? Should we teach some words?
Go on.
All right, cool. So, good morning. Buongiorno. So I'm going to say it.
Oh, it's just bonjour with an O. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so say it back.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Try and say it not as like
Buongiorno.
not as like a British white guy. Try and say it with a bit of like gusto. Buongiorno.
Do I have to? Okay, all right.
Come
Buongiorno.
on. Okay, grazie. Thank you.
Grazie.
Grazie, very good. So prego.
Prego.
You're welcome. Excellent. The last one we'll do is ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao is an interesting one. Ciao is hello and bye. So informal.
Like sassy
Sat Sri Akal, yeah, not Sasikal. I don't know what Sasikal is, mate. No one says that.
I know, I'm taking the piss. Go on, I'm taking the piss here. Let me just have my moment, yeah? Jesus.
There are a few things that irritate me, mate, and that is definitely one of them. Cool. So
That's
those are some
why
Italian
I do
words.
it, man. That's why I do it.
Right. Pro tip though: when you go to these places, Italians really respect when you try and use their language and words, even if it's a little bit, right? Like if you're just doing understanding and someone's saying something to you, like see, which means yes, they will appreciate it and they will give you respect for trying rather than just being like, do you speak English? Do you speak English? Right? So just learn a few phrases and, quanto costo, how much. That's very useful. Per favore, please, like just simple things. And anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn Italian. So I had my first lesson, and that was quite
Fair play, man.
Yeah.
This feels like you were in like a scene of House of Gucci, with all the
Yeah.
enunciations and that. I'm like,
Yeah. Gucci, gusto.
because he's in fashion.
He's actually, he's actually in fashion.
Okay.
He's who you aspire to be.
Well, he
Just
was,
get the glasses. Get the glasses, and you're there. man.
Spoiler alert.
We haven't finished it yet. Actually, we need to finish that film. Anyway,
Well, I
what
thought
has
you
been
just spoiled it for you,
happening
but okay.
with you?
So, Doctor, you went to the wonderful shores. If it's shores, I don't know. I hope it's coastline. You went to the wonderful land that is Matera. I went to the wonderful land that is Birmingham. I haven't been back in a while, so I went to
Birmingham.
back from America / wherever they've been. Saw the whole family, and we thought, let's go to the German market. And that was not a good idea because it's absolutely rammed. Disgustingly rammed. Like you can't move. It's too many people. Way too many people. But at least it's not too cold, because if it was cold and too many people, it would be unbearable. Thankfully, you kind of get a bit warm because it's been a bit of a milder winter, hasn't it? So that was pretty cool. It's nice to sort of take everyone there. Took my niece and nephew there for the first time. They loved it, which is fine. And it was nice seeing them. One thing I did appreciate, going back to the thing that you just said about using language, my niece has started saying Hanji or Nay to me in Punjabi, and I'm like, I appreciate you trying to speak like a little bit of it in your day-to-day lingo. That's good. So that was nice to see. But I do think the German markets are a little bit overrated now. We're not even ranked the best German market in the UK. It's actually somewhere else.
I think it's up north, isn't it? Somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I haven't been in a while. I think the limitation for me as well is the food. Like, it's just basically sausages everywhere, isn't it? Like, that's fine. I get that. You got your, your bratwurst and your currywurst and all these things. That's cool. But you need some vegan veggie options, man. It becomes a lot more attractive to me personally. I think I've had the hot chocolate before. I think I've had a few of the desserts before. But I can't remember now. Do they have, is it all about food and drink, or is there like games and things as well? Is it that kind of feel?
It's
or no?
food, drink, antiques, Christmas decorations, like all that kind of stuff.
Shopping.
The food area, in fairness, they did have churros, they did have marshmallows,
Nice.
and they did have crepes. I was looking at that like, that's what Goran meant when he was talking about trainers. Okay, there you go. So they had
Sorry,
crepes
just to be
with
clear,
Nutella and
but you knew what
everything in it.
crepes were anyway, yeah, before me saying it.
Yeah, Goran. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just checking, bro. Just checking. Okay.
Yes.
Fine. Yes,
I
that's
know
what
it's an interchangeable term, kind of like the word sick. You know, people say it when they're ill, but they also say it when it's very good. So interchangeable. Yes.
Urban Dictionary
Yes.
featuring
Very good.
Indy. Very good.
Urban
Nice.
Dictionary. Good lad.
See.
Good lad. So, yeah, man, German markets I officially think are overrated. It's nice for a family outing, but I wouldn't go year on year on year. It's just the same thing crammed in the same set of people. And the only thing I saw that had changed was the ice rink's gotten bigger. That's literally
Ooh.
it. The ice rink is bigger and it's got like a little ceiling on top of it.
Where's the ice rink? Is it right at the top near the square?
It's by the library now. So it used to be at the end of the square towards Symphony Hall. But now it's not Symphony Hall, sorry, the ICC. But it's not. It's been moved down a little bit to be directly outside Baskerville House. So it's right in front of the library now, and it's pretty massive, and it's getting bigger year on year. So I assume they probably commanded, like a bigger set of people now within there. So that's the only thing I can say that's definitely changed year on year.
Okay, I take it you didn't do the ice skating.
People who run those little
horrible.
No, nope, nope. Nope.
Yeah. You've broken enough things. You don't want to break anything else. Yeah.
Exactly that, my friend.
Yeah.
I also considered the people who set up those little pop-up stalls. You know, with the little pop-up stalls, you press that toy and it spins around with the little light. You have people who have those little light-up things you put on your head. And I just thought, man, they clean up. They absolutely clean up because kids see it, moan at the parents then give in and then give it to them. 9 times out of 10. So sometimes a parent will say to them, you can pick a toy, you can pick one thing, and then they pick that. But I'm like, man, they must absolutely rack up. And with the weather being milder, it makes sense. But doing that all day, pretty grueling job. It's all cash in hand. It's all tax-free though, isn't it? So got to think about it that way. I doubt they have permits or anything. I wonder if they have to like leg it when they see a policeman. Or if police just let it go. All very, very good food for thought. Business ops there, mate. Because
pop-up stores, I mean, when you do have to pay for your permit and your fee, I've seen these like the Goose Fair in Nottingham. The one we go to is like a carnival thing. When we shouldn't this year, it's expensive, man. Like, but then you've got to make a certain amount. Same for when you go to cricket matches, like those desi places, and you're like, why are they charging £10 for masala chips? It's because their permit is like stupidly high, man. They just have to clean up. Yeah. So did you guys eat before you went, or you ate there?
No, so I ate there, but I had everyone's leftovers because I arrived a little bit late. So I had like half a bratwurst, half a garlic bread, had some churros, and then we ate out with like my mum and dad in the evening, which is nice because normally we eat at home. When we eat at home, we don't tend to see each other because mum's always running around. But it was nice to just go somewhere and just sit and eat with everyone and just not have to worry about that.
Where did you go?
We went to the Highfield in Edgbaston.
Okay. What cuisine is it?
It's just basically glorified pub food, but it's just a nice ambience, nice restaurant. And it's right next to us in Birmingham town, which is just outside the rush.
Nice.
So I parked at Brindley Place and then drove out there, which is only like about 5 or 10 minute drive, just to save myself getting caught in mass amounts of traffic.
Good. So you had fun.
Yeah, man, it was nice. I did play a cheeky prank on my bubby and my wife, Sanj. So what we did, me and my brother were walking in front back to the car, and they're not familiar with Broad Street. So if you walk up to the car, we then thought if we take a right to go towards Brindley Place and then take a left, and take a left again, take a left again, you come back out into Broad Street. Yeah. And we did it. And we did the first left, we're like, they're not going to realise. Second left, we're now going back onto Broad Street. They still didn't realise because they're chatting away amongst themselves. We turn back onto Broad Street, we go straight. Then we turn left into the same route again. Then we're like, hang on, and we've been this way. And me and Bao were like, yeah. And we did think, how many times could we do this until you realised where we actually were and what we were doing? Just they were completely in their own little world, completely oblivious. So you got no sense of direction.
Okay, so twice. You got them out twice.
Once with the full loop, and then we tried to do a second one, but they were like, no, it's this way. I was like, okay. Always fun to do. Just to check if people are paying attention.
Well, yeah, I guess, look, if you're the navigator, right? like, we're going to go to London in a few weeks, see you guys, then I'm going to trust the navigator.
Yeah.
You're normally the navigator. Look, you've got a geography degree, man. You've got a compass built into your head. So this is your role, mate. This is your role, okay? And eateries, you're good at finding eateries. That's definitely one of your skill sets. Put that in your LinkedIn, mate. I find good places to eat. Women take pictures of me in certain countries.
TripAdvisor.
Yes.
I should work for TripAdvisor. That'd be great. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Why should you work here? I use your website all the time. I find the best food recommendations. Okay. Hi, Ed.
There you go. Look, if someone paid me to travel and do, vloggy style stuff, and, I'd be meticulous, man. I'd be like, this is the way you travel. This is the bus you get. Like, I would systemize the whole process, man. Like Matera, this is how you do it.
Of course you would.
I would, right? But just need the funding, innit?
I have a business opportunity for you.
Ooh, okay, go on.
I think you should charge people your little planner, an organization planner, template, and give it to people to follow through and do for their trips.
Expand on that a little
deadly
bit.
serious.
Expand on it. So take
think of it
Matera as
this
an
way,
example.
You clearly have everything itemized, itinerary, everything set up, days out. You've got it all set up on Google Calendar. It's all integrated. You then click it. It works. Everything is all smooth. If you could just put that into like a little template and then sell it to people, you can make quite a bit of money, I think, mate. Because a lot of people do get a bit of travel anxiety when they're going somewhere and they don't like having to think about X, Y, and Z.
What would you pay for that?
I don't know. That's for you to do your market research, mate. I'm the ideas man. You're the executioner. So you tell me.
Executioner.
Okay.
Okay, I will consider it. I may have to take a sabbatical from the podcast. You'll have to sign off on that then, darling.
Wow. Okay, I'll take it back. I'm going to delete this segment and we never spoke about it. Okay.
Yes.
I want to find this fee, 15%.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
Oh, man. Fantastic. All right. You're going to see a little segment here that's segueing us to the next bit. Enjoy the transition that's coming up. Yeah. Sweet.
Prego.
Confessions of a Married Man. Karan, are you going to make it a record 5th week in a row speaking about your wife? That is the main burning question in everyone's mind.
Everybody wants to know. Sorry, Pochadi. How is Shindy? Shindy is fine. Shindy is happy. I'm happy with Shindy. She has not done anything to frustrate me this week. So it's all good, man. Mainly because we're on holiday. We're on holiday. Or as Sanj likes to call it, hollybobs. That's growing on me now, Sanji. I do still think about hobnobs when you say the word, like I read it as hobnobs. But it really makes me feel warm inside when I read the word like hollybobs. Like I just feel happy. Like you can't say that word and not be happy. So thank you, Sanj, for that lovely word.
It's true.
It's true, isn't it? No, it's not. Nothing to do with Shindy. And I guess the confession this week is more of like a revelation. I want to call it like a revelation, man. So one of our excursions in Italy is we went to a working farm. What they call it's called agricultural tourism. It's like this hybrid thing. And this is essentially an olive farm, fresh fruit farm, lots of different things. So one thing we learned is the area that we were in is the birthplace of pasta. This is where pasta originates from. So the north and the south are very different in terms of, much like India, in terms of their cuisine, their outlook on life, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So historically, southern Italy, because it doesn't border any other countries, is very poor. And so the food that's come out of that region had to be accessible to your average person and had to be quick to make. Okay. And so I can't remember the Italian phrase, but it translates as food of the poor, right? So a really good example is, right, I'll describe it to you. You tell me what this food is. Italian starter, bread, chopped tomatoes on there, maybe a bit of parsley, balsamic vinegar. Starter. Starts with B.
Bruschetta.
Right. So first thing we learned, absolutely made up word, bruschetta, sket. That's how I have to remember it. I think about sket, bruschetta. So a couple of things I learned. Right. Another one is...
Do you know what sket means in English?
I know what it means. I know exactly what it means, but that's the only way I remember how to say it. Instead of saying bruschetta, bruschetta, right? Another one is that we say...
I think the viewers would like to know
yeah.
if you know what it actually means.
Yes, it's a lady of, leisure. It's a lady you can pay for certain favors.
Lady of Leisure. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lady
Pleasure.
of
I was
Leisure.
gonna say, yeah, lady
of
of pleasure, lady of pleasure, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what the. I started with the lady of, and I was like,
pleasure.
oh shit. Yeah, what's the word? Escort. It's lady escort.
Okay. All right. Lady of
I
Pleasure.
know what. I know what. Yeah.
Lady escort. I don't know if she's an escort, bro. I wouldn't call them that. Escorts are quite high end.
Okay. I'm just
I'd say a
I'm
cheap
throwing words.
escort
Go
that
on.
doesn't require a fee. But that's me. But okay.
Indy's talking clearly here from experience. Okay, fine. He's got a very. You're Google, mate. You're like, define the term. I says, like, no, it's not that. It's clearly not that. This is what it is. I'll tell you what it is. I know.
No.
All right, buddy. So,
Yeah.
bruschetta. Another interesting one. They laugh at you, the Italians, when you say it. So, not pistachio, pistacchio. And the way to remember that one is it's Pinocchio, not Pinocchio, Pinocchio, pistachio. So, anyway. Poor people in the South, no access, and they would have, so in this 1950s kind of term, maybe like meat twice a year. So they're mainly vegetarian, right?
Wow.
The Southern, and they have, and even now, like the lady we were learning from, they have like meat once a week. Not vegetarians, but they enjoy it. Now, the thing I couldn't get over is like, okay, you guys eat pizza, pasta. How are you all not fat? That's the question in my head. This is all carby food. So tell me, right? So I'm looking at this lady, Sylvia, who's teaching us, who is like, you know, this like goddess of a woman, really beautiful woman. And I'm just like, how are you not healthy, man?
Confessions of a married man here. Hi.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you seen the video. You seen the way she looks at me when we're doing the old making the dough. You seen the video. What did she tell me? She goes, Jazz, when you make... She doesn't have this actual accent, actually, because she actually grew up... Every summer for like 16 years, she spent in Devon. So her English is really good. But let's say she did speak like... She's like, Jazz, when you make the dough... You need to use a patience and a passion. These are the key things she taught me, okay? And she used another analogy, which I'm not going to say on camera, which you know about. Guys, if you really want to know
that analogy, ask me. My God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. If we had a Patreon, I will put it on there for people to go and listen to. Okay.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly the type of content, right? Bruschetta type content that would be on there. But yeah, it was like, so just tell me, what is the secret, man? And this for me is all about the revelation of, you know, the Italians have made eating a science, man. There's an art to it, obviously, but there is a science. Like they eat in a very certain way, eat at certain times. They don't eat, you know, like when we think about, right, Christmas dinner, right? We'll go for a carvery, Toby, right? Everything is on the plate at the same time. They don't have this concept. They eat one thing at a time. They're like really mindful. So they have their antipasta, which is essentially like starters. Then they have primo. Primo is always... It's not really, they don't have like first course, second course, or main course. They don't talk like that. So primo is always a pasta dish. And then they have seconde. Seconde is what we would say is the main, which could be obviously veg or a meat of some sort. But only one thing at a time. And so I was like, so what is it, man? She goes, right, hey, look, listen to this. She's like, in the US, which is like the second biggest producer or has the second biggest variety of grains in the world. They have about six different types of grain. Italy, 1,400 different types of grain.
Ooh.
America, 6. Italy, 1,400, right? So here's the first thing. She goes, what you're using, there's two things here. It's the produce, the ingredients you use, and they're obviously on farms, all fresh, completely organic, don't use pesticides, and the methodology, how you make it. So, you know, I had the question like, okay, we eat Domino's Pizza, you like your Caprinos, all these places, right? How come when you eat this pizza, you start feeling, you know, stodgy and you feel full and you feel bloated? Whereas here in Italy, we're eating pasta every day. We're not getting fat. We're waking up the next day and we're ready for breakfast again. Why? What is this, man? How can you eat pasta every day and, you know, stay like this? What they're using, so it's a different grain. That's the first thing. And then she started telling us about the yeast, right? Like, you know, so instead of the yeast being over 2-3 hours, which they commonly do in like kind of fast food places, this is like days and days and days. So although you're eating carbs, the way that they're eating the carbs is just a completely different way, which is why, and this is a medical fact. It's kind of, we're not doing a Doctor's Chronicle segment this week, but there is such a thing called the Mediterranean diet, which we prescribe to some patients, and that's based on this southern Italian region and other places around that, which is a very healthy diet, predominantly a lot of olives, a lot of olive oil. These things are natural antioxidants. And these guys, you know, they just incorporate it in all aspects of their food. we learned that to be called extra virgin oil, right? You see on the bottle, like you can have virgin oil, extra, extra virgin oil. The extra denotes the level of acidity. That's what it's based on.
Right.
We picked the fresh oranges from the trees. That was nice. We got to try those. So all in all, that was, for me personally, it was like, I'm not naturally someone who cooks. That's the first thing. And normally when we do excursions, you think about Italy, it's all about the sculptures, the art, that kind of stuff, buildings, right? So to do excursion, which is about food and making food, I was like, wow, this is completely out of my comfort zone. But I had so much fun. It was just a great day out, man. So that was my confession this week.
Sensational. I'm proud of you.
Sensational,
well done
mate.
For getting out your comfort zone.
Bravo.
And trying different things.
See.
Yes. All of that lovely Italian language. Now, here's the thing. How is that a confession of a married man?
Yeah, like I said, it's more revelation. It was a revelation about how can we eat like carbs. The confession or the revelation is not confession. Revelation is there's different ways to eat carbs. Carbs don't have to be bad when you see these people and they live to like over 100 and they're eating this diet every day. So, yeah, I can't really bring it back to confession, mate. But afterwards, me and Shindy were like, okay, we're going to try some of this stuff. We're going to buy some, local produce and really get into cooking a bit more. I mean, Shindy already does it, but I was like, I will be more than just the sous chef, the chopper. I will get involved more in the actual, now I'm like a dough expert, guys, if you want to see the video of me making dough, right, I will upload it as long as Indy allows it, but I became quite expert at kneading.
Oh, mine. Go for it. You can see how she's blatantly hitting on you, man. I felt uncomfortable watching it. I was like, yo, what's going on here?
Bro, what what can I say, man? Like, she sees
beard,
this guy
isn't
in
it?
It's the beard, henching it. Kim, whoa, bro, ain't no gold plate teeth here. Right? Kimbo slice, yeah, maybe. She obviously loved the way I spoke English, and she was like, yeah, okay. Clearly didn't care about Shindy standing right there.
I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, I was very happy as well. I was like, mate, got game.
Oh, man, it's too much to handle. Okay, so sticking on this topic a little bit, is this why Italian food tastes different abroad? And maybe MyFitnessPal can't log this properly. And that's why you're able to eat so much of it. Even though you do put on weight, you still do. But I guess it's not as stodgy or heavy. I don't understand how it would potentially change the calorific content within the food made. It's got to be something to do with the raw ingredients and the grains, I guess.
Absolutely that, man. Like from the outset, you can't really work it out. But even the pizza, man, like they have this concept, and we have this kind of anyway. Like if you go to Pizza Express, you don't really share a pizza at Pizza Express. You have your own pizza, right? Completely the concept in Italy.
Yeah.
So we went to like the top-rated pizza place in Matera. Shout out to Altra Pizza, and it was the day before we were flying back. So we were like, okay, let's just have a few starters, and we'll have one pizza. Had the one pizza, nobbled it up, like it was just melting in our mouth, man. We were like, oh, this is easy, man. We'll have another pizza, no problem. Because it's not like all the shit that we have here, like stuffed crust. Like this is all just marketing bollocks, man. Like this is not based on anything. Right? Yeah. Pineapple's don't exist on pizzas. I do love that. You can't ask like, can I have pineapple on the pizza, please? No, that doesn't work. And actually, aesthetically, when you look at Italian pizzas, they don't look very nice. Right, we're used to like neat slices, and there's like this pepper here and this pineapple here, and it's all very much right. And then you look at Italian pizza, and it's like, and you're like, oh, that doesn't look very nice. And you eat it like, oh, mamma mia, it's just so good. Few gestures for you, right? So I'm enjoying my food in Italian. This one, right? Fearful. I'm a bit scared. What the fuck?
Okay. Yeah, everyone knows that. Yeah. That's from Russell Peters. Yeah.
And then obviously, mamma mia. You can say that. Oh mother. You can say that in any, in lots of different scenarios. It depends on the inflection you put on the phrase and the word. But yeah.
What's the Punjabi equivalent? It's like Hai Rabba, innit?
I know what the English equivalent is. It's one of your catchphrases. Good Lord. Good Lord.
Good Lord, yeah.
Good Lord.
Or it's like... Well, no, actually, what is the English and Punjabi version of saying that? Like, Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. Hi.
Like, oh, my mum. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, but it's not...
Yeah. Hi.
It's not our version of it. It's what gives you the same feeling. So the hi would be the Punjabi. Oh yaar. Oh yaar. Oh man.
Oh,
English.
Diddy. That one.
Oh teri.
Oh,
Yeah,
Diddy.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
one.
yeah. English. I like yours, man. Good lord.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Good lord.
You've got
I
some
just whisper it
catchphrases,
now.
bro.
I didn't even say it properly.
No, I'm getting a
I do
t-shirt
have
printed
some,
with
I'm not gonna
your
lie. I do
catchphrases,
have
man.
some.
Podcast catchphrases from Indy. Oh, they're too good, man.
Yeah. I also say like a lot. I'm trying to cut that out. Listeners, you probably observed I'm really trying to cut that
Do
out.
you?
Because when I'm making the clips, I'm really trying to not say it. And it's so difficult because it's like another word. See, I said it there. It's like, it's the equivalent of trying to say but not saying So I'll swap that out with like. See what I mean?
It's a filler word. Yeah, you're trying to cut out your filler words.
It is a filler word. Trying to buy yourself time. Probably happens
Just
when I
make-
speak too fast. So if I slow
just
down
make
the
some
way
noises.
I talk. How about that instead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound a bit constipated, but yeah, we can work on the noise.
Thank you. It could become a noise. I will jump
Okay.
onto my little bits.
Your confession.
So I think mine's quite quick actually. So spending time with Sandra on the weekend is always great. And she's a little bit dyslexic
Whoa. This is some precursor.
She is.
No, not the dyslexic part.
No,
it was like,
it is. 'Cause she
it's
said
confession
to me-
like, spending time with Sandra's great, but there's a big but coming here. However,
Oh, it is great. It is great.
clearly
I
not,
noticed
mate.
This thing that she did that was it was super cute, right? Basically, she said something like, "What was it? Oh, you can't have this food. It's got nuts in it." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And I said, "What kind of nuts?" She said, "Oh, you know, the ones from Macedonia." And I was like, "Macedonia, I was
Macadamia.
like, do you mean macadamia nut?" She's like, "What? They're not from Macedonia?" I was like, "No," but equally, that's very, very different. What you're going for there, mate. That is not what I was trying to hint at.
Macedonia's
Didn't know that they were from Macedonia, which they're not.
Macedonia is a place. It's not a place anymore, but it was a place. A
It
real
was
place
just
in the past.
random.
Yeah. I can see where the
It
confusion
was
would
from
come
a real
about there.
place of like love.
Ancient Greece.
Yes.
That's where it's from.
Is
And
it
so when you
actually?
correct, Macedonia is the old kind of. You see it in the film Troy with Brad Pitt. They show it on the map.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of old regions. It's been rebranded now, whatever the modern day. I don't know if it's Syria now or something else, but. So when you corrected her, what did she say?
It was just a penny drop moment. She was like, "Oh," and I was like, "It's okay, don't worry." I pissed myself laughing, but I was like, "It's okay. I understand how your brain thought that it was that. Yeah, that makes sense to me."
So you prefaced this with spending time with Sanjay is great, but then you gave an example which doesn't
is
show
great.
that it's yeah, but I don't understand why you said it because you made it sound like you were going to give an example of why it's not great, but then it was fine.
Oh, because I love teasing people with like a bit of fake info, and then I'm like, "Here you go, bam, hold that,
Bam.
yeah?
Bam.
See, got the little clickbait. Now you listen.
Got you,
What are you
mate.
gonna
Got
do?
away. You know, I was hooked, man. I was waiting for
Right.
the what's not great, and you're like, oh, she said the wrong word. I'm like, okay. You're savage, man. You're so savage. Oh, God. Sanj, if you want to know
21. For those who don't
why,
understand the reference, there you go.
if you want to understand why Sanj, why Indy is so savage, right? Sanj is because he's in fashion, right? Like it's just so cutthroat, you know. And Indy's in
That's
that
it, man.
industry,
That's
and you can't say the wrong word around Indy. That's like end of your career, mate. Okay,
Can't, man. Can't.
don't be doing that
I'll
shit.
happily catch you out. However, I am a free man in the week that people are watching this. I still haven't had no recommendations on what I should do, even though I'm going to be working my tits off with Black Friday. However, I'm more than welcome to listen. More than happy to listen to any recommendations on what I should and shouldn't do. So let me know things that you recommend that I should do in this newfound spare time I have. Drop a
How long
comment,
is it?
'cause-
How long is it this time?
Yeah, it will be on Wednesday. Bam. 6 days, 5-6 days.
You call me the jet setter, man. Sanjay been smashing it, man, in the space of
Yeah,
what?
she is,
Like
man.
mate,
Going
she's
abroad,
leaving you,
left, right,
she's
and centre,
leaving you
smashing
behind, bro.
life, man.
She don't need you. She don't need a man. I don't need a man.
No, she doesn't.
Clearly,
Go. I ain't got a problem.
she's going to Macedonia. She don't need you. She'll find the nuts there. Don't worry.
Macedonia. Oh, here you go. Here's another point. If you were going
Two.
to somewhere close to the World Cup, right?
Right. Right.
and you're in like the next city along, and you didn't go to the World Cup, would you be a little bit upset, or would you feel like you missed out?
Yeah, I think it. Look, obviously, it depends on if you're a football fan, but even if you're not, even if you go for one game, go close, get into a bar, get the atmosphere, you got to, So clearly, this is about Sanj again, yeah.
Yeah, because she's going to Dubai, and I can't go because I have work. But I'm like, if I went, I would need to go to Qatar because I'm like, it's right there. It's the equivalent of driving from London to Birmingham. That's how far it is apart. It's quite close. So I'm like, well, just go. And I'm saying to her, you have to go. She's like, I can't. I've got stuff packed each day. I've got things to do. And I'm like, man, you're a really good friend because I know if there were guys going on that, they would easily say, right, I'll come to this, but on this day I'm bailing and I'm doing a day trip to Qatar, so you can just chill. I'll be there on your wedding day, but the other days in between, I'm going to that. Yeah, cool. All right, bye.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. I take it she's not into football at all, or
she is, but it's one of her best mates. Hence why she's like, no, I'm not going to go. I'm going to do this. And I don't think she would want to go there alone without me going with her or another like family member going with her because, different distance, random place in the world. Bit unsafe.
And this is a birthday hen, something else?
No, it's her mate's registry wedding. No, her mate's Hindu wedding in Dubai. So she's going to that.
Oh, hello. Okay. Wedding season. So yeah, I guess you can't even say to the bride, can you be like, right, mate, after the wedding, just, go to football.
I feel like if you said that to a guy, they would get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the same rule for women. Girls who listen to this, please comment and let us know if it would be okay. I personally don't think it would ever fly. I think they'd be like, no way.
I agree.
Sweet. Well, that deaded that segment. All right, cool. So we'll move on to the next bit. I agree. Cheers, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, cool. End of that bit. Cool. Momentum stopped everything in its tracks. Hope hit that train button. I hit the table because Goran just halted the entire segment. All right, next bit. Right, people. So here we go. We are jumping into the segment which is called Did You Hear About? And I'm saying to Goran, did you hear about these questions that I'm about to ask you? They are semi-multiple choice questions. So the way they work is it will give you a premise at the start. So for example, this one is which one is bigger? And it will then give you 4 different statements and then you pick and choose which one you think is bigger. And it gives you the answers on which one is actually bigger at the end. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, all right. We'll do 2 of these. Okay.
Right.
So here's the first question. Are you ready?
Shoot.
Okay, which one, Goran, is bigger? Or which is greater, I guess is the question. The distance from the International Space Station to Earth or the distance from LA to San Francisco? Geography.
Yeah, clearly. So the obvious thing that people will jump to is going to be like, oh, space has got to be really far. But then why would you compare it? So I'm going to go with this latter then. I'm going to say from San Francisco to LA, you said, right? Is that 2 places you said?
Yeah.
Although my geography isn't that great, but they're on the same side, no? It's not like you're going across America.
Yeah, they are.
Cali's on the same side, San Francisco. They can't be that far from each other. But this seems like a trick question. The International Space Station to Earth. I'm still going to go with the second one, although my first thing would have been to obviously go for space, but I think it's a trick question. So I'm going to go for the second one.
So think of it this way. Just I'll lock those answers in. Locked in. All
right, Christian.
However, think of it this way. The distance from San Fran to LA is the equivalent of driving from Birmingham to Scotland in terms of distance and time.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. So the answer is San Francisco is 348 miles from LA.
Right.
The International Space Station orbits Earth at a distance of 250 miles.
So I was right.
So, Goran, you are 1 for 1.
Good.
Well done.
The tricky question.
The trick question. Yes.
Yeah. Go.
Okay. Which is greater, the calories in a Big Mac or the calories in a quarter pounder with cheese?
Quarter pounder
This
with
silence
cheese.
is brought to you by McDonald's.
Quarter pounder with cheese.
Tell me your reason why.
Again, the Big Mac seems too obvious. Big in the name. It's the most branded burger. You'd think it's got the most calories, right? Now, I'm not completely sure what a quarter pounder is. I know it's a beef patty, isn't it?
Quarter pounder is beef patties, yeah, I think.
Right,
Let me
yeah, it's
just
beef
check
patty, isn't it, with
exactly,
cheese,
'cause I don't
yeah.
eat them. Hang on.
Yeah.
Quarter pounder ingredients.
What
I don't
meat?
know if I should type this in. I'm about to be really upset in it.
Bruschetta.
Okay, a quarter pounder is 100%
Beef. Yeah,
quarter pounder is 100% beef patty. There you go.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
beef
yeah.
patty.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're
I'm
going
going to
for which
go
one?
quarter pounder with cheese, please.
Quarter pounder with cheese.
Hmm.
The answer is quarter pounder with cheese. Quarter pounder with cheese has 740 calories, but the Big Mac has only 550.
Yeah, there you go.
550. There you go. Very good. 2 for 2, Karen. Very, very
Thank you.
impressed.
Thank you. Yeah.
Here's one that might catch you out, I hope.
I hope.
Which has a greater average rating on Google reviews? The Times Square or the Taj Mahal?
Which? Say the question again.
Which one of these has a higher average rating on Google reviews?
Okay.
The Times Square or the
Yeah.
Taj Mahal?
Fine. So this is talking about the stars, isn't it? We got like 4.3, 4.9, that kind of thing. That's what the question you're asking now. How do
Yeah,
we delineate this?
yeah.
So India obviously has a higher population. You'd expect there to be more reviews, which could bring it down.
See, personally, I would think how many different types of traveler are going to be coming to that area?
Both.
Because they're the ones that are going to leave a review. The locals don't give a shit, do they, really? Because it's there regardless. It would be the equivalent of me ranking Big Ben. It doesn't mean... I'm not going to do it. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone not rating Taj Mahal high though. So let's go Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal's higher, yeah?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. It's wrong. So,
Times Square. Okay.
Times Square
You know, before
has
your little
4.7. The Taj Mahal
preamble-
has 4.6.
Yeah, before your little preamble,
Yeah.
I was actually saying Times Square, and then you gave me this all this shit about locals, completely messed my head, and I changed my answer. But because I thought, like, you know, Times Square, you think about it,
Blame
and you
me
think,
for this.
yes, people can think, oh, Times Square busy, a bit commercialized, da da da. Whereas Taj Mahal is like a beautiful thing. What reason would you not have it to give it a 5? Maybe cleanliness, I guess busyness again. But yeah, okay. So not much in it though. 0.1.
I would think, consider it this way, you'll get more of an eclectic mix of people that will go to visit Times Square than you would the Taj Mahal. Because Times Square is in the middle of New York. It's very accessible. It's very quick. Taj Mahal, you don't just go stay at the Taj Mahal. You stay at a place and travel there. You might get Delhi belly, right? You might get ill. That might ruin your experience.
Look at
You have a lot of people begging you for money in India.
Oh,
You got to
my
think about all
God.
these things, all these external factors that
you are
ruin
just
the
trying to-
experience of being a tourist.
You're painting India in a bad light, man. It's not that bad. Not everyone gets dirty belly.
Hey, I watched Slumdog Millionaire, okay?
Yeah,
I
okay,
guarantee
Mr.
99% of the people who travel there saw the same damn thing, all right?
Guys, if you want to see Indian Doctor Podcast do an episode live in India, that can be arranged. I have plenty of family there. I will take Indy with me and make sure he does not have a horrible experience in India. Or maybe if you want to see him have a horrible experience, I can also have that arranged. So just let us know. Yeah.
Hashtag send Indy to India.
Sashikal.
Hashtag doctor is paying. Cool.
Sashikal.
Shishka. All right,
Go.
next one.
Go.
Which is greater, the number of Instagram followers Taylor Swift has or the number of Instagram followers Beyonce has?
The natural response is going to be Beyonce. I think of Beyonce having the higher brand. But let's go the opposite. Let's go Taylor Swift.
I didn't influence your opinion in that, did I?
You did not know.
Okay. Wrong. The answer is Beyonce. Beyonce had 277 million. Taylor Swift has 226 million. Queen Bee, man. Can't mess with her.
Yeah, that was the obvious answer, but again, I thought you were trying to trip me up, so I went for the opposite. Do you know
Look
who's
at
the
you see
most?
here. I'm not always trying to do
Who has the
nefarious
most
intentions to
Instagram
you.
followers in the
It's
world?
not me. Probably Ronaldo.
Yes, Ronaldo, then Messi, then I think it's Virat Kohli, and then I think it's King James is up there as well. Joe
There you
Rogan
go.
talked about it recently in his podcast.
I could find the list for you, actually.
Hmm?
Huh?
What do you say?
What did you say? You said recently about this podcast.
Joe Rogan, he was talking about this on his podcast. He didn't know who Virat Kohli was.
There we go.
And somebody told him, he was like, what, Virat?
Wow.
Who's this guy? Virat Kohli? He's got more than King James? What? More people who watch India-Pakistan than the Super Bowl? What?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Garan. This next
Go.
one's about salaries. Ready?
Go.
Okay, so apparently New York City employers are required to list salary ranges on job postings, which is actually quite good.
Useful.
Okay. However, I'm going to give you a job. You have to guess the salary listed on each job posting in dollars in
Like
New
a
York.
range?
Okay.
You want me to give you like a range?
The range varies. You just got to ballpark it here.
Okay, go.
There isn't a right answer. I'll give you a 10% leeway. How about that? Yeah.
Okay.
Quick maths. Okay. A sous chef at Per Se, which is a 3-star Michelin restaurant. How much do you think their salary is a year?
It's a chef at a 3-star Michelin. So, getting Michelin stars is lots. To have 3, that's going to be quite hard. I'm going to say $250,000.
$250,000.
3-star Michelin. Look, my reference here is doctors make $500,000 in America, in New York. And this is a chef, 3 Michelin stars. So clearly I'm too high, but that's what I would have said.
$70,000.
Wow, for 3-star Michelin, man, mate, you're in the wrong industry, man. You need to just become a doctor, man. $500,000, easy.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Yeah, just transition to being a doctor overnight. Easy work, light work.
Mate,
Don't worry about
Dr.
it.
Chronicles, I was there. I'd just be doing that full time. As in, I wouldn't have podcasts, would I? I'd just be like, I'm going to be a doctor. Here's my $500,000. Thank you very much. Life is great.
For someone whose MO is helping people, you'd be
Yeah.
helping people that have money. It ain't the
Yes.
same feeling.
It's not. It really isn't. That's a good point. It's a very good point indeed. Yeah.
How much do you think a general superintendent of train signals at the New York City Transit makes?
Based on your first answer, let's say 40.
40.
Yeah.
Okay. 104,000 to 154,000.
Bloody hell. That guy's making more than the chef.
Yeah.
The Michelin 3-star. That makes no
Yeah.
sense at all. Does it? Supply and
No,
demand,
it makes
really.
sense. He's clearly securing the lives of people on trains every day, making no errors, no mistakes, no collisions. I think that
Right.
requires a fair bit of bob.
Yeah, maybe it's the word general superintendent. I'm just thinking like a little manager somewhere, but this is like the big boss is what you're saying.
Little manager, I think, is the main guy in charge of all the
Yeah,
trains.
this is like in that film with Denzel. What's it called?
What? The Taking a Felon 1, 2, 3.
Yes, the guy in the room when he has all the trains and he's like, it's that dude in it. That's
Yes.
what you're on about. Okay, that's it. Got it.
I think that guy's one of his minions, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Not Denzel himself, but the main dude in the room. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Next.
the main dude. Yes. All right, how much do you think an exhibition coordinator at the Whitney Museum of Art makes?
Exhibition court. Wow, these are really abstract things, man. I'm gonna go again, but
Abstract posh names, isn't it, man?
between 25 and 40.
Man, even this 10% I'm giving you ain't enough. You're
Right.
0 for 3, man. It is
Yeah.
60K.
That's a very respectable.
You're
salary.
thinking are you thinking pounds or are you thinking dollars?
Clearly,
right now?
like I'm just that I think that I'm not doing the conversion in my head. What's 60K in our money roughly?
To be fair, the conversion's near enough 1-to-1 now, so it don't make a
Okay.
difference. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Fine. That's quite more than I would have thought. Yeah, for that kind of job role. No, again, not
Keeping you
dissimilar
defense,
for the chef,
That's what I'm
man. That chef's got all that stress for 70K. No.
Fuck all.
Yeah,
In
clearly.
New York as well. Well, your rent's
In New
like
York.
$2,500 a month. Yeah.
There's a guy on Facebook. He makes these reels when he walks up to people. He's like, "How much rent do you pay in New York?" You seen it? And they tell him, "He's like, can I see your flat or your place?"
No.
And then they just go there and they just go and look at it. It's actually quite engaging. It's good content.
That seems hella sus, but okay.
Yeah. Gets me hooked.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
How much do you think an anchor at WCBS TV or Channel 2 makes?
This is big. Okay. This is definitely more than 100. So let's say $250,000 for this one again. I'm going to say 150 to 250.
Woo! Ding, 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 ding. Bang on the right answer. 230 to 250K.
Yeah, buddy. That's a big
Well
job.
done,
That is.
well done.
Anchorman. Going to be the Anchorman.
I think
that's the
I
role
think-
I would have if I went to America, bro. I would be the Anchorman. Okay. Good morning.
just said you were gonna be a doctor.
America. Yeah, and then my part-time job. Come on, yaar. Good morning, America. I'm here with Indy, and today we are going to discuss Indy and his IBS. Thank you.
But why would you? Because you're a news anchor now. That
That's
failed,
it, bro.
didn't it?
You are the news, mate. Okay, you hairy man. You are the news.
I'm not the news. I've got nothing newsworthy to talk about.
Oh, bro, women taking pictures of you. You are the news, okay? Man don't need no hollybobs.
Thanks.
And the women taking pictures of him. Okay.
I don't. Sure, I don't.
Okay.
Last question. Executive
Go.
Director of Fixed Income Trading in JP Morgan Chase's Global Wealth Management Division.
$500,000.
I'll give you a second guess.
So it's not as much. Just give me higher or lower, and then I'll make a second guess.
I'm not telling you either. So I'm
It's-
giving you a
it's
second
high,
guess.
It's
Though.
in
That's
JP
generous.
Morgan. Yeah, I've got a reference point, man. So it could be a lot more, or it could be a lot less. So let's just go with $500,000, man. That's it. It's high. JP Morgan's wealth.
But I already gave you a second guess. Why would you submit the same answer twice?
Okay, you want me to go $1 million? Let's double it. Okay.
1 mil. Oh shit. Okay, all right. 142K to 300K.
Okay. Oh, okay. He's a $500,000's not that far.
Oh man.
There you go. I thought you were gonna, bring out.
We
some
won't do the
big
salary
fish.
one again, mate. You sucked
Big
at that.
fish. Yeah,
the other one was
okay.
good though.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it.
The other one had less margin for error. The other one was either or. You had a 50-50 chance, right?
Yeah. This is just random, man.
Yeah,
you
it's
could do
just like,
the
bam,
same
here's a
game,
number.
but
You're
just,
like, oh,
just
okay.
give some ranges, give some options, right, and then it's doable.
Oh man. Well, there you go, man. I found that quite enjoyable. I should do that again. It shows how
Really
up to
fun.
date you are with current movements of salary postings and how much people get paid. in the
Why do
world.
I care? Why does it
Yeah.
matter to me, bro? Tell me.
You should care. It's very.
Why
important,
should I care?
bro. Very
Why?
important.
Tell me.
Okay.
Educate me. Why is it important?
Because one day, Karan, you might have to talk to these people, and then you got to understand their trials and tribulations of what they can and can't afford.
I'm live ringing Indy. Indy, how much does this guy make, man? Just tell me. Come on. I've got a meeting, right? I need to know how much this guy makes. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
call me. Don't Google it. Call me though. Yeah?
No.
Sweet.
Call the source, right? The source. Yeah. Mr. Indy.
Call the source.
How
Yeah,
much?
yeah, me,
How much,
me.
Mr. Indy? Oh man.
All right, guys. That's all for this week. Thanks for joining us. Drop us a message, like, comment, share, sub. Please leave us a review on Spotify. Please take part in the poll on Spotify. Apple reviews are always welcome. And we will catch you on the flip side. See you then. Laters.